Good morning, everybody. Thank you all very much for joining us for a very exciting announcement here on this Monday morning. Our job at Metro Government is to work with everyone in Louisville to make our city safer, stronger, and healthier. And that work takes many forms in many ways, from public safety to parks and libraries to filling potholes and much, much more. And one of the extremely important things that we do here at Louisville Metro Government is to work with our partners in the business community to help Louisville businesses grow and thrive and to attract, develop, and retain world-class talent. And the great news is that right now, our city's overall economy is very strong. We want to keep it that way. We want to build upon that strength and lead Louisville to even better heights. We want to create an economy that attracts investment, encourages entrepreneurs, and provides career options for people in every single neighborhood in Louisville. We want to create more good-paying career path jobs for people all across Louisville, inside the Watterson and outside the Watterson, at small businesses and large businesses. And from the beginning of my campaign for mayor, that's been my vision for creating the economy of Louisville's future. To work with local businesses that are already here and be proactive to help them create more good-paying career path jobs, to help them grow and expand and reinvest in this city that we all love, to attract new businesses to Louisville and some of our areas where there's no better place in the world to be located than right here in Louisville. And for people who can work anywhere in this country, let's attract them to Louisville because this is the best place to live. And from the beginning, we've been thinking about what is the best way to make that happen and to have the right leadership for our entire economic development team and the portfolio of related agencies in place to lead us moving forward. A leader with experience, vision, and a deep understanding of how our economy works and how it can work even better than it does today. And so today, I'm very excited to announce a new member of our senior leadership team, to announce that our new deputy mayor for economic development is Pat Mulloy. Pat brings an expansive and extensive experience in business, in government, and nonprofits. Be here all day if any one of us tried to list Pat's amazing accomplishments over his distinguished career, but here are just a few of the highlights. Pat is the former president and CEO of Atria Senior Living. He later served as the CEO of the senior housing provider, Life Trust America, and then went on to co-found Elmcroft Senior Living in 2006. He's also spent 20 years as a practicing attorney, using the law and bachelor's degrees that he earned from Vanderbilt University. And from 1992 to 1994, Pat served as Secretary of Finance for then-Governor Brereton Jones. And throughout his amazing career, he's also been involved in many other important community organizations, including currently serving as the chair of U of L Health. Pat has led public and private companies. He's started companies and he's led existing businesses. He's been incredibly successful in the for-profit community, and he has helped nonprofit organizations thrive. He's been involved in the private sector and the government sector. And most importantly, he's a great person who loves Louisville. And that's why I am so excited, Pat, that you have agreed to join our senior leadership team to be our deputy mayor for economic development. We have a lot of work ahead of us. And with the great team that is already in place, there is so much that we will continue to do. I also want to thank Jeff O'Brien. Jeff has been an amazing leader for many years here at Louisville Metro Government, and we are fortunate that Jeff is going to continue in his current role, helping to lead the Economic Development Department, along with other colleagues throughout the Economic Development Group. And that group that Pat will now lead includes economic development, as we said. It also includes the Office of Planning, Codes and Regulation, Housing and Community Development, and our Office for Arts and Creative Industries, all of which, working together, are going to be so focused, are continuing to invest in our community, in neighborhoods, and creating those good-paying career path jobs that we talked about. I also want to thank our partner at GLI, represented here today by their CEO, Sarah Davisher-Wisdom. GLI has been an important partner to the city for many years, to the business community and the community at large. In my most recent budget proposal, I proposed expanding and re-strengthening that relationship between GLI and the city, because to me, that is the critical path forward for how we're going to work together in partnership on economic development here in Louisville and around the region, to bring more good-paying career path jobs to Louisville, to have more businesses invest in our city, and to attract people from around the country and world who want to live right here in Louisville. Together, between our economic development team, with GLI, with Pat, we have an amazing team that is certainly going to lead Louisville to new heights. Pat and his team know how to make things happen. They will create new opportunities and capitalize on existing opportunities, to create a strategy for growth and to continue to move Louisville in a new direction. So I am so thrilled to be able to announce our new Deputy Mayor for Economic Development, Pat Mulloy.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. And I'm humbled and excited and honored that you've asked me here today to do this. I had a couple of thoughts running through my head when I woke up at 3 this morning thinking about this. It's a bit daunting, and it takes a lot to daunt me at my age. Because as you said, I've been unable to hold many jobs on a steady basis over the last 30, 40 years, but I've been blessed with strong relationships to have a million doors opened for me in my life. So I'm humbled and honored to be here. And I was thinking about this job with respect to my family. My family is sort of emblematic, I think, of a lot of Louisvillians. My mother came to Louisville in 1951 when she graduated from Somerset High School, because two sisters of hers had already left South Central Kentucky, where there weren't a lot of jobs for young women, and they heard they were hiring women at a new place called Appliance Park at GE. So my mother came here, and that's what brought her to Louisville. My father was raised by a single mom up near 4th and Hill, mostly on Magnolia, and he was the first in his family to go to college, and he went there because of the GI Bill. And because of what doors were open for him, he was able to raise 3 sons who became lawyers, who all were fortunate enough to be sent off to Nashville to college, and some of us stayed down there for law school. So this town means a lot to me. I was educated in the public schools here. Proud to be a 1971 graduate of Wagner High School, and I'm proud of the work that Dr. Polio's doing out there. Very proud. I'm not one as you get to know me and learn, you'll find I'm generally a glasses half full person. I'm an optimist about where we are, and I'm excited to help shape, reshape, rebuild, come up with new creative ideas about how to create economic opportunity across this city. Like the mayor, I have a bias to action. We will be imperfect leaders. We will make some mistakes, but we will make some decisions. We'll try to do some things boldly. We're going to try to be nimble. We're going to try to be creative. One thing I've learned in 25 years running 4 different healthcare companies is I try to listen. One time, my late great friend Karen Wonderland, who I used to call my executive coach and therapist at work, she told me I needed to talk less and listen more. She told me that about 20 years ago. At first, it didn't sit well with me, for any of you that know me, but after I sat with it and listened to it, it's a mantra I've tried to take with me through the rest of my career. The other thing I learned in healthcare is that if you really wanted to know what's going on with senior citizens, which is what I did mostly for the last 25 years, I generally tried to talk to people at the front line, people that were making the decisions, people that were touching the lives of grandmothers and grandfathers. And so with that learning, I've tried to build my businesses with a real sense of customer service, responsiveness, and I want to build the same sort of attitude and tone as we come in here to city government. Louisville's got a lot of great stuff going on, a lot of good stuff. We've sort of been kicked in the shorts in lots of ways in the last few years on lots of fronts, whether it's issues of racial inequity, which have been around a long time and are getting more sunshine and more transparency as is needed, or whether it's police issues or violence or whatever the issues are. But when you shake all that dust off, this is a rich city. And I don't mean rich monetarily. It's a rich city of people who care deeply about the quality of this place, what this place means, and it ought to be the best place in America for people to grow the businesses they've got. Ran into my friend Neil Ramsey in the airport, who you know, and Neil said, I told him what I was going to do, and he said, you come in here and you help the businesses that are here. And so that's going to be a huge part of what we do, listening to the people that are already here, are already putting their life and sweat and toil and energies into this town, and then go tell our story to get new people that don't know about this place, where we've hit our light under a bushel basket. So the last comment I would make, I was talking to a friend over the weekend, and he reminded me of something a friend and mentor, Jay McGowan, said to me one time in a meeting. He said that the economic imperative is inextricably linked to the moral imperative. And what he meant was that the moral imperative of creating jobs and opportunity, that's how you grow businesses. And that's how you grow, because people will care about where they work, and they will care about their place and where they want to live if they believe that you're trying to build a better community. And so I'm going to try to bring that attitude in here. I'm honored and humbled to be here, and with that, I'll be quiet and answer any questions, and look forward to working with all of you. Oh, yeah, Sarah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, before we get to questions, two more quick things. One, I wanted to say something a little bit further about Jeff, because Jeff and I, like many folks in Metro government, it was an arranged marriage, if you will. People like Jeff that have been working in city government for many years, new mayor gets elected, and we get introduced and get put together. We had met each other before. But Jeff and his team have been phenomenal through the transition, continuing to work together on existing opportunities that they have been working on for many months, in some cases years, and identifying new opportunities as well. And so I am so thrilled, Jeff. I just want to publicly thank you for your leadership, for your continued leadership, to you, Ben, the entire economic development team that you all have, because you all form the core of the team that is going to continue to move forward with economic development activities. And we as a city are fortunate for all of your commitment to public service and for your leadership. I know you have certainly taught me a lot over the past 4 months, and I'm excited to continue to be able to working with you as move forward. And one of those partnerships that Jeff and his team have been working on long before I became mayor was the relationship with GLI, which I mentioned to our administration, we believe is a critically important relationship, not just for Louisville Metro government, for all of the city. And so, Sarah, we are excited to continue working with GLI to strengthen that relationship and to do amazing things for the city moving forward. And so, Sarah, if you'd like to say a few words, we're welcome to.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Pat. We at GLI are very excited about this announcement. Our initial conversations with Pat have been very strong, and we're excited to see the evolution of the partnership over the course of the next year. We really have a lot to do in economic development to accelerate our regional growth, and we're very excited about the way forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. And now, with that, any of the four of us are happy to answer any questions that you all might have. Yes.
Pat, a lot's been said about downtown and just kind of vacancy issues, getting people back downtown. I know you're new on the job, obviously. What are your plans to kind of address that? Give me preliminary thoughts.
I'm 2 hours on the job. Sorry, microphone. Yeah, and I didn't mention workforce development. It's a huge issue, and it, like everything else, it's inextricably linked. The whole issue of talent attraction, that's probably job one. So it's a job I'll be focused on. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that I've got answers to all of it. I know there's a lot of great work going on here. The community college system does a lot of great work. I served 16 years on Bellarmine's board. I know they're doing a lot of great work. I talked Friday to Dr. Schatzel. She wants to get intimately involved with us already more than they are. So there's a lot of stakeholders in the issue of workforce development. It's a priority. That's really all I can say right now. I'd be fibbing if I told you I was expert in it.
What makes your approach to the job different than people in your position in previous administrations?
Well, as I said, I'm an optimist by nature, and I also respect. I believe that we stand on the shoulders of people that came before. So, Mary Ellen and what Greg did as mayor, there was a lot of good work that got accomplished. I think you'll see us, there's a need to take a fresh look, and this is not at all being backward looking or judgmental about anybody, but we're going to take a fresh look in a very short order about a strategic and tactical plan for economic development for the city. We're going to build and rebuild and re-strengthen the relationship with GLI. Those will be our primary focuses, or whatever the plural focus is, and also marketing. I mean, there's a whole telling our story piece that, the city's been preoccupied. We've had a lot of serious issues and continue to have a lot of serious issues on a host of front, but telling our story in a way that cuts through that noise out there. Also, I was on a call Friday. I think there's a huge opportunity in this Midwest, Mid-South region here, what I'll call the Chicago to Birmingham corridor. Louisville is uniquely positioned, and if you're following what's going on, I know a goodly bit about Nashville because I sit on a board down there and I'm back and forth in that town a lot. And I know a little bit about what's going on in Indianapolis. We've got a real competitive advantage, I think, for businesses in this region if we get our story out through the noise and through the clutter. And some of it's just building a quick reputation for deals and things that we can get done, and then those build on themselves. That's the way. I mean, it's a bit of a sales notion that way.
Mayor Greenberg, why did you feel you needed the deputy mayor position for economic development?
So this was something that I have thought about since before I even became mayor. When I made my initial announcements about our senior leadership team, there was no deputy mayor position over the whole economic development area. And so this was a position that in my mind had been vacant since before I even took office. And so Pat and I started having conversations about this opportunity not too long ago. I wanted to get a little bit more involved to understand all of the different areas within this area, broadly speaking. And Jeff and I have been working very closely together in that regard, helping to understand all of the Office of Housing, what we're calling the Office of Housing Community Development, Office of Planning, Codes and Regulations, Economic Development, Office for Arts and Creative Industries. Wanted to understand a little bit better about that, about what characteristics would be right for the position for Deputy Mayor for Economic Development. And so that brings us to here today. So it's something that I've always contemplated, but just did not fill at the very beginning when we filled the other deputy mayor positions. And then we're also going to think one of the things that all of us have already started talking about is, what is the long-term structure for economic development in our city? And we've changed it a little bit from the prior administration, and we are wide open to additional changes as we move forward. And so that's one of the things that Pat, Jeff, Sarah, myself, and others from out the community have already started talking about is what is the right structure for the long term for economic development in Louisville. All right, well, thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day and week.